It has been 3 months, because I just checked, since the last time I did one of these. I've been writing in a journal to, I guess, mitigate my need to speak, or not my need so much as my desire to speak, to feel like I'm venting, I guess you can say. And a lot has changed. It has been a year. But it's actually been longer than that. Not because it's been a year today. It's been over a week, 2 weeks maybe, I don't really know, but this feeling is older than just a year. A year is just how long I've been aware. I have OCD. And other things. But the OCD is the hardest part for me. I don't have the alphabetize everything in the wall OCD. Picture perfect frame on the wall OCD. I don't have good with numbers OCD. I have social OCD. And despite how I feel, despite my beliefs, my principles, my values, whatever adjective or synonym you'd like to use, no matter what I think or feel, it's as though I only perceive myself through the eyes of others. Because I'm constantly seeking some sort of validation or praise from other people. Acceptance. My codependency is that powerful. I couldn't get that validation from my folks. I couldn't get it from my friends. I couldn't get it from anyone. And when I finally did get it, I had no idea what to do with it. And now I am faced with the word obsessed. See, in 2025, the word obsessed is used improperly. It's used very improperly. Oh my god, she's so obsessed with that new cop. Dude, have you seen this show? I'm like totally obsessed. Oh man, she is totally just obsessing over him like usual. Is she? Are any of you? To me, obsession, the act of behaving in an obsessed way, is... it's different. I only perceive myself negatively as obsessed because I understand how it could be perceived as others would see it. My habits, my routines, even down to the way that I categorize all the shit I have in my walls. I know where everything is. I know exactly where to find it, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. And that's exactly how I feel, too. That's how my feelings work. I am perceived, I become ashamed, and I become defensive. And in no part of that process, once that shame kicks in, am I honest? Because I'm viewing myself through a way that isn't honest. It's through the way of the people that I'm talking to, or the person that's upset with me, or someone I've hurt, or something I've done, and I can't cope with it. And it costs me something amazing, or at least it feels that way to me. See, part of the OCD that makes it worse is even if you know your own truth, you never know the whole truth. I don't know if the person that I feel these things for felt the same way that I do, the same way that I did. After months of no real communication, no real reaching out, no real anything, I can't even remember the last time I saw her. Which is funny. I used to be able to remember everything. Now I can't. Not everything I'd like to remember anyway. We are supposed to be sharing a journal. In this room, my little sanctuary, I guess, I was writing in that journal. And someone very close to me was sitting right next to me. And she is close to both of us. Close to me, close to her. And I was supposed to send a letter. I asked if I could send letters still, and she said it was okay. But letters aren't really reliable. Mail isn't. And even if it seems silly to do now, there's something really intimate about a letter. There's something really intimate about writing in general. Even though my marker, or rather my pen, Jesus Christ, my fucking wording, my pen is erasable, but everything I write feels permanent. You can't just spell check. Once you write it down, it's there. And you either have to destroy it or amend it. And I hate destroying my words. The letter got there eventually, but before that, I made a passive comment that I wrote in my journal right here on this table. I wish that we could share a journal. You know, like writing back and forth. Kind of thing you see in dramas or whatever where two people are passing notes in class kind of deal. Something I always wished I could do when I was in high school. If I had the right person to. And she agreed. I didn't really expect it, but the last day that I had a chance to write in that journal, the first time I would write in it was the day, the 4th of May, the day we separated. And it was really hard to think of anything. It was really hard to write a letter to someone that I've been thinking about every day since well before that. that night on the 4th of May. And I did. I loosened myself up. I unplugged my head, and I just wrote what I felt, and I sent it. The next day she got it, through our mutual. It's been almost 2 weeks, and I hope to hear from her, to see what she's written, if anything. And I keep thinking about it. And I keep thinking about that word, obsessed. When I think of the concept of obsession through the eyes of my contemporaries, obsession is usually associated with greed, jealousy, envy, some variant of the 7 sins if you really think about it. People are obsessed over what they can't have. And it's really easy to see me that way. I know, because I've forced myself to see myself that way. To break myself free from any act, any conversation, or any choice that would make me appear that way. Despite my having sobbed relentlessly in these fucking, whatever you call them, vlogs. I don't know what the fuck these are. For over a year. But I want to express what it is in truth, in my truth, that is being branded, or would be branded rather, as obsession. Sex is not a problem for me. I am demisexual, and I don't really enjoy, I guess I should be more blunt, I cannot stand to be intimate with someone that I don't feel romantically connected with. I have allowed people that I lost that connection with, and people that I've never felt that connection with, to guilt me into feeling and believing things about myself that were never true in the first place. Because if it can be perceived, then maybe it is true. Especially when you're your worst critic. Sex is not a motivation. Attraction is meaningless. Everyone's going to be old. Everyone's going to have something that's unattractive about them at one point in time or another. Even someone who looks flawless to you today won't be that perfect eventually. So, looks aren't really a thing. She works at a retail place. She's not rich. And I don't really want anything. You can't really tell unless I were to show you, but I'm sitting in a room with thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of things that were once important to me. Collectibles, treasures, personal artifacts, I guess you could call them. And media for the rest of the century that I could enjoy and share with others. And none of it has any meaning. Well, not none of it, but almost all of it. The few things in this room that are important to me were given to me by people who care. And some of the things in this room she gave me, and those things are of great importance. But nothing flashy, nothing particularly of significance that's monetarily valuable, but sentimentally valuable to me. For example, on the wall behind me, you can't see it, of course, because the lighting in here sucks, but I have a Coca-Cola car. Matter of fact, oh man, I have this. It is I believe is it a Johnny Lightning? No, it's an M2M machine, or M2 machine, whatever the fuck. I'm not like super familiar with toy brands, but it's like a premium car. There's only 750 of these, according to the manufacturer. It is a pin-up Coke Girl car. It's 49 Mercury Cruiser. Right here. She went to an old, I don't know if it was an antique shop so much as it was just just an odd hobby shop or something like that, and she found it there, along with a few other toy cars. And she brought this to me. It was a gift. And since I've owned this car, I've had it somewhere where I can see it. Even now. And my friends and so many other people have spent so much time telling me to get rid of these things. And for the first time a few nights ago, I tried. Last weekend I tried. And I couldn't. I did get through some things. But I couldn't get rid of all of it. It was just too painful to do. I manifested every bit of the same manic energy that you can see in a lot of these other videos, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't stomach it. And this is where the obsession thing comes in. Because only right now am I realizing how oddly pertinent this is, which is going to sound facetious, but it's the truth. Can't really argue with it. I can anyway. The day that she received the journal, her and our mutual friend went and got snacks at a gas station. And she quoted, Jesus Christ, the way I'm trying to phrase this. She was quoted as saying, "I've never found my name on a Coke bottle." And me, being a desperate people pleaser in some stupid attempt to show her that I still care, I wanted to find them. But that's hard. Even if a name seems common, it's hard to just walk into a store and expect there to be a Coke bottle when there's so many millions of different variants of Coke bottles. And I tried to buy them online through the Coke website, where you can customize names. And I couldn't get them. My order got canceled. And a few days later, sitting in a shelf facing forward in a nearby corner store, was the fucking Coke bottle. And it's sitting in my fridge. And I sat there and I thought about it. What does this really mean? Should I really look at this as some sort of fucking sign, or am I just, as other people would interpret it, looking too deeply into it, thinking too deeply? But it's sitting in my fridge, and I contemplated what it could mean if I was just making something out of nothing, out of desperation, because that's how I perceived myself. And it's easy to say that because that sounds reasonable. And I asked myself, what should I do? And I thought to myself, I wish I could just talk to my dad. I wish I could talk to my dad, so he could help me make sense of any of this. And a few days later, in the same fucking store, almost the exact same spot, was another Coke bottle, and it had my father's name on it. And I shared this happening with our mutual, and I tried to, in the conversation, convince myself that, it was just one massive fucking convenient coincidence. And after a few moments of just re-expressing the same thing, because in conversations I end up repeating the same thing several different fucking ways to try to nail it into myself and get the other person to agree that I'm fucking out of my mind. And she said, I don't think so. I said, why not? Because his name isn't on the list. His name isn't on the current updated list of names that are being printed on Coke bottles. And now they're both sitting next to each other in my fridge. They're both sitting right there. And I got tired of trying to criticize myself. I got tired of trying to defeat my feelings in order to fall in line with what sounds like is the right way to deal with this. I've been losing my memory. I've been having psychotic episodes. One of the first of which is in here. Manic crying, laughter, crying, laughter, crying, laughter. Switching dynamically between the two. These spikes of god-awful heartbreak and heinous laughter. And I tried to bottle all of that up so that I could stop seeing so clingy and so desperate and so this and so that. And I got tired of it, and I asked myself a few important questions. Why is what I'm feeling bad? Why should I care if anyone thinks I'm obsessed? I don't think anybody does. It's just easy to see things that way and say things like that. When people sit down and watch a movie or a show or a drama or read a book or anything that has anything to do with love or romance, they either liken what they have to it or wish that they had it. And those who have gone long enough without will scoff. And it becomes easier for them to say that someone who is in love is obsessed. She made me feel happy. She made me feel welcome. She made me feel seen. She made me feel valuable. She made me feel safe. She always made me feel safe. I made myself feel unsafe by questioning myself and her, because I couldn't just accept that she was there. And she's not perfect. She's not the best at communicating. She can be a bit judgmental. But she's fair with that. I think, anyway. She's very hard on herself. She can be a bit indecisive. And sometimes she can be really cruel. But what person isn't? Even if themselves they see as a pacifist in someone else's story, they are not. We all share that in one point in time or another, even if we don't know it. Or at least I feel that way. But she made me feel safe. She made me feel real. And when I realized that I fell in love with her, I couldn't fathom how deeply that love would grow. And I tried everything. I turned to drugs. I turned to therapy, strangers, music, writing. I tried really hard to do what I used to do whenever I went through heartbreak, or what I perceived to be heartbreak. When someone awful that I tried so hard to make something with wouldn't click, I would beat the fuck out of myself until I couldn't feel. I would say everything that I'm feeling is stupid. It was all pointless. This is pointless. They could never love me. They can't love. I would vilify myself, them, ultimately both of us in the process, and I can't do that with her. Nothing that I try is effective. Like rocks against a steel wall, everything is ineffective. Because what I feel is real. I have tried to destroy that love. I've tried to numb it. I've tried to ignore it. I've tried to silence it. And it isn't until I began trying to tap into it. I have... Oh. Odd. I have begun to open myself up to new people with the same disposition and honesty that I had when I met her. And people like me more now. And even though I doubt it all the time, it still feels right. I don't have the guilt when I walk away from seeing people or talking to them with this idea that I tried too hard, or that I may have made a mistake in how I expressed the emotions that I went through with the masks that I wore. And yet I still feel it. I can feel that in the life I have now, I am making something of the love that she gave me. And even though I'm trying my best to give it away, it's just growing. When I make someone happy in the same way that I made her happy, I remember. If they laugh at something similar, I remember. They don't have to look like her, sound like her, be like her, nothing. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where. I can feel myself leaning into who I am. And every one of those moments, I share with her in me. And so I think about her. Is she okay? Is she taking care of herself? What's made her laugh lately? What's made her think? All these things I wish I could know. Because whatever her answer is, big or small, insignificant or grandiose, it's hers, and I want to know it. I want to share my thoughts with her. I want to know that if I smile for some reason, even if it has nothing to do with her, that I could share it with her. And I can't. So I think about it. And that makes me obsessed. When I smile and I see something that reminds me of her, and I think about it, I'm obsessed. When I cry, for the same reason, I'm obsessed. If I'm hurt for the same reason, I'm obsessed. Obsession is a manifestation of the depth of feeling I have for her. And the perception and the interpretations people have for that word will always exist. But within the context of any conversation where my feelings are considered to be obsessive, I know that I'm never really honest. Because I don't feel like I can properly express or convey to anyone how deeply rooted these feelings are. And the reality of it is that I don't know her anymore. A year is a lot. It could do nothing to some people. It can do a lot. A day can change a person's life. Over 365 of those. I don't know who she is, and she doesn't know who I am. For all I know, she could have changed into someone that I just don't like anymore. But I wouldn't know. But I'm going to share where the stem of that obsession comes from. This obsession. Before she left, she said something that stuck to me very hard. I know that I love you. I'm sorry for how I've made you feel, but I know that I love you. There is no version of me that could exist that could not love you. And I have been a myriad of different people, emulating what I thought was right for the situation, listening to suggestions that never worked, trying to be people that can handle the situations that I myself couldn't. And I was just acting for an invisible crowd of critical people my whole life. And the reality of it is that there's no version of me that could exist that won't love her. That won't love the way she made me feel, or she could make me feel. There is no version of me that could ever feel better off without the safety that her presence provided me. And I am self-aware of that. For 30 plus years, I've lived on this earth completely unsafe in my own mind. And I met somebody who made me feel okay with who I was underneath of all the makeup, the thoughts, the demonizing, agonizing fucking criticism. So yeah, maybe I sound obsessed. Maybe I sound completely out of my fucking mind. Maybe I sound delusional for believing that these numerous coincidences are something bigger or some sort of sign to not give up hope. But isn't that what we all spend our time trying to do? Looking at celebrities and wishing we had their lifestyles and thinking if I just make the right moment happen, I can be like that. Is that not what we're all obsessed with, is feeling secure, feeling happy, feeling safe, feeling like anything that we do on this earth is going to make a fucking difference? Do we not at least want to make that possible for ourselves or at least one other person? I found someone and I fucked it up. And it is hard to live with myself after having done that. So I think about it. But I'm fucking doing everything I can to make something out of it. And it is very hard. And there are more days than I care to admit where it feels impossible to manifest any of that energy, to express any of that joy, to wring myself dry of all of these intrusive thoughts and all of these harmful criticisms that I have collected and echoed into my own voice, into the voices of others who've never spoken those words of criticism or judgment. to keep myself in line for something I never needed to do? Is it really that fucking horrible or that ridiculous to want for that to change? I don't really care. I don't care if I seem crazy. I don't care if I seem delusional. I don't care if I seem like a fucking nut. I don't. Because for everything I have ever been through, everything I've ever sat through, all the horrible things I've done, all of the things I've said, all of the horrible decisions I've made, I can either do something now or crucify myself forever. And that's even more insane. I would rather live the rest of my fucking life like an idiot, hoping that someday this can mean something. That this can find its way back. Because I've looked at everything my whole fucking life through black and white. And the love that she gave me is a chromatic lens. And there are different moments and different contexts, and we all find ourselves echoing and believing these ideas that things are just black and white. They're either this or they're that. And so, if I'm obsessed, I would rather be obsessed with the idea of finding love with the right person. The person I know is the right person. Than being obsessed with the idea that I was never worthy of that in the first place. Than being obsessed with being angry. Than being obsessed with hating people who I knew couldn't love me for not loving me. I'm not climbing over fences, staring through windows. I'm not Joe Goldberg. I sit in this room, I think, I cry, I beat myself up, and then I scrounge for any hope I can. And whether the universe is sending me signs or not, I don't know. I really don't know. But there's a Coke bottle downstairs with her name on it. And if I am obsessed for wanting to show her that I still care, even if it's in the stupidest fucking way possible, I'd rather do that than beat this obsession out of me, because I've tried to do that and I can't. I'll never be able to. So in the interim, I am going to choose to accept whatever I am, however I seem. But I do this because I believe in love. I believe in her love. I believe in love itself. And I believe that nothing I can ever own, nothing I can ever buy, nothing I can ever be awarded or rewarded or shown or given will ever be more valuable than love. Because love is all the things you need in the moments where you need it. Love is mercy. Love is listening. Love is understanding. Love is compromise. Love is hard. And that's what all of this is. All of this is me becoming someone who can except that I failed to do all of those things. Merciless, unrelenting, unmoving, incooperative. I was just intolerable. And I've been petrified of saying anything because I saw a thread or a post or whatever the fuck you call them about how awful it is for the person who gets sacrificed for another's growth. And I have been that sacrifice. And the love of my life became that sacrifice. And if I am obsessed for wanting the person that I become to die, still loving the person who gave this awareness to me, then that's how it's going to be. And I don't care. If my memory goes to shit and I die completely forgetting anything else, I will have become that person by holding on to something precious instead of all the fucking anger that caused me to lose it in the first place. I saw something about unrequited love, which I also interpreted as some sort of sign. Or maybe Google's just listening, I don't know. Unrequited love, by definition, would mean that I am not experiencing any love, but rather a lack of love for myself. And someday that might prove to be true. I don't know. But what I do know is that all of the best parts of my life now exist because I engage in life with the same pace, the same courage, and the same appreciation for the moment that I'm in that I had in the moment where I realized I fell in love with her. And I will choose to live with that moment in every instance that I can. Because forgetting it and going back to that place of tormenting myself and other people, that's what trying to get past it looks like in me. And maybe that can change. I'd like to think that it can. That if I do get over this, I don't go back to being who I was before her. But for right now, I believe that all the growth I've been able to find has been because I accepted that this person that I love so much loved me. And I want to nurture the person I was in that moment more than I want to nurture any thoughts, any suggestions that I am better off without. Because I've lived for a very fucking long time without it. And as fucking insane as this sounds, considering all the hurt and angry emotions I've displayed from then till now, I'm more happier in this life having known her and lost her than I ever was in any moment of my life beforehand. And every thought about her that has come since that realization, obsession or not, it comes from a place that is very real. I do not choose to feel these things for her. The essence of who she is just worth it. And if that's not what we're all chasing, then I shouldn't really be listening to the voices of people who don't understand that. I don't know when I'm going to make another one of these. In my hopes, I'd like to think that this account ends with a video where all of this is over. And I can say that this chapter of my life is closed. But until then, every moment of happiness that I manage to achieve as myself, I will always remember that it's because somebody worth it, somebody worth everything, believed in the person that I am in those moments. And in the interim, even if she never loves me again, for at least one moment every now and then, her love will exist in other people because I'm going to share it with them. And that means more to me than any of my grim realizations have ever meant. So, until then, I will not be taking advice from people who don't know what that feeling is like, or handling criticisms from people who think that they can change my perspective on what this feeling is or what it means. Because I know what love looks like and I know what love feels like. And even if I can't look at it or see it right now, I can still feel it. And that feeling is worth obsessing for and over for the rest of my fucking life. And I'm much happier doing that than pretending I'm someone who can't. And that's all I got.